In this video, I'm going to show you how to get that instant spark of inspiration whenever you're ready to write a song, but that flame of inspiration just isn't there. How's it going today? My name's Jeremy and I'm here with My Music Mastery. Now I know that for you and myself even, there are times where we'll be ready to write our own original song. We're mentally ready to, we want to do it, but that spark of inspiration just isn't there. We don't know what we want to write about and nothing seems to be there's no topic that's gravitating towards us, telling us that we need to write about it. You try so hard to overcome this obstacle, but no matter what you do, the obstacle just seems to grow bigger and bigger because you cannot find that spark of inspiration that you need. Well, in this video, I've gathered a few tips for you today that I want to share with you to help you find that spark of inspiration so that you can get started on that new awesome song right now. Before we jump into this video, I just want to say if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up for me and hit the subscribe button and turn those notifications on because I've got a lot more great content coming your way on this channel. Now, the first thing that we can do if we want to spark inspiration is listen to music that is already out there. When we listen to music that's already out there, number one, we're already seeing what's successful, we can model that success, but number two, there might be a song out there that is about a certain topic and we might want to write about that same topic, but give it our own message. One thing that you'll find consistently across the board is that there are many songs out there, maybe even millions of songs, that are about one specific topic. And each person that wrote a song about that topic has given it their own unique spin. I mean, just think about love songs. How many love songs are out there? So you need to do the same thing, whether you want to write about some political issue going on, whether you want to write a love song, whether you want to write, a story like the hero's journey or something like that. It doesn't matter. There have been songs, or there are already songs out there that are written about that. And some people may hear that and it may turn them off. They may say, well, why would I write something that's already been written? And that's why you're not writing the same song that's already out there. Like I said, you're going to be putting your own unique spin on that thing. And that's the thing that people don't understand. So don't worry about that. Write about the same topic, but put your own spin on it. My next tip that I have for you is to record every idea that you ever have. Now, sometimes you'll be out, maybe you're at work, maybe you're at the mall or something like that, and you get this idea in your head, but you don't have time to grab your guitar, you don't even have your guitar with you. You don't have time to sing, you don't have time to figure out what the melody is. And you know that if you don't get it recorded, if you don't sing it or you don't play it, you're gonna forget it. And that's potentially the greatest song that's ever been written, right? Well, what I recommend is that if you're in that situation, pull out your phone, open up the voice memos app, and just record what you have in your head. That's going to be the easiest thing because then later on when you do have your guitar, when you are at your piano, or when you can figure out what that melody is or what that chord progression is, you can pull it out, you can play it, and then you can figure out what it was. I can remember a time specifically, actually last year, I was at the mall, I just had this melody pop into my head, and I started going through it, and I was just walking around the mall singing this song, and then I ended up pulling out my phone and just singing it into the voice memos app. And it really, because later on down the road, because I knew that I was going to forget about it, like I said, later on down the road I pulled that recording out and I started writing along to it. Ultimately, I kind of realized that the melody that I had in my head was a little bit too similar to something that was already written. When that's the case, that's when you can kind of look at what you have written or what you had recorded and say, okay, well, this is too similar to something that's already out there. But then you can look at it and say, okay, well, how can I modify it to make it more unique to myself? That's really how you can create some unique things in your music, is you can have this repertoire of different music that you've recorded into your phone, and you might realize, okay, this is too similar, or this isn't working, this isn't very good, but you like the foundation of what's there. And so you can say, okay, how can I modify this? What can I do to make this more unique to myself? And so that's what I would recommend. If you find yourself in that position, just start to think, how can I modify this? Now, one final point before we move on to the next one is that when you have a full repertoire of recordings, you can go back when you need that spark of inspiration and you can look at what you had when you were inspired. You can listen to them and you can find something that was previously recorded that you might have even forgotten about, and then that can spark that inspiration and you can start writing that song right now. Now, my next tip for you is to remember not to force inspiration. Inspiration cannot be forced. It has to come naturally. If you try to force it, it's not going to be very productive. You're just going to sit there and you're going to get inspired, and nothing is going to inspire you. It's just going to be this roadblock. It's one of those things that the more that you try to chase it, the further away it gets. Think of the musicians out there who do try to force inspiration. Professional songwriters, for example. people who write songs for other people for a living. If they sit there and they're like, okay, I have a deadline on this song, I have to have this song written. If it's not written, I'm gonna be fired. And they put all this pressure on themselves to just write an original song. What ends up happening is they just write about crap that they know is gonna be popular. You know, listen to the radio, listen to 90% of the stuff that's on the radio today. It's complete garbage. And so the reason is that we have these professional songwriters that just, their job is literally to write songs for other people, and that's how they get paid. Because there's that incentive to get paid for it. And then they know that if they don't come up with something, and especially if it's not good, they're gonna be fired. And so they have to write something that really they don't care that much about. You know, think about how many songs are on the radio about sex or drugs or money. There's nothing there with a really deep meaning anymore. This is all my long-winded way of saying that you don't want to be in that position, because those songwriters, I'm sure, are just depressed. They're writing about things that they don't care about, and they have this deadline on their creativity. And when you put that deadline on your creativity, you're hurting yourself more than you're doing yourself good. So don't force inspiration. Inspiration will come on its own. And when it does come, you'll know that it's there. The last thing that I want to talk about is experimentation. Now, experimentation is going to be key for your success in finding inspiration. The reason for this is that sometimes, you know, like I said, we have this obstacle of not having inspiration in that moment. But if we pick up our guitar and we start experimenting, just noodling around, trying to find some chord progressions or some melodies, this can give us some ideas that we never had before. We can play something and we're like, oh, what's that? That's kind of cool. I wonder let me play that again. And we play it and we think it's kind of cool. And then, okay, well, where can I take it next? And then you do that. You're not even having any expectations, but once you find something that gives you some inspiration to continue writing, just the sheer act of playing and experimenting and finding something new is going to kickstart that inspirational process. It's going to give you that spark that you need. The number one tip that I can recommend for you to be able to do this is to simply sit down and just try doing something that you've never tried before. Try using some different intervals that you've never tried before. Try some different chords that you've never tried before. Try putting different frets together on different strings and see what happens. You never know, you may find something that sounds totally out there and really cool. Now, just recently I was experimenting with this, and I picked up my guitar and I started to, it's like, you know, I kind of want to write like a slow rock, kind of a bluesy riff. And so I sat there and I kind of went, ba-na, down, ba-na, down, ba-da, down. And I thought that this was really cool. And then I closed it off with ba-da, ba-da, down, ba-da, down. And it was kind of this cool, I flipped because it's in 4/4, but then in that last measure, I flip it. It's kind of this cool turnaround thing that it does. So just experiment with things that you've never done before, like I was doing. Like I said, I just had this idea, I just wanted to write something bluesy. It was a little out of my comfort zone because a lot of the time, I will write on my acoustic guitar, you know? So I haven't expanded on the idea very much yet, but it's something that I'm looking to in the future, and it's something that I really do. I have the ideas in my head, it's just a matter of putting it down on the instruments. Alright, that's how I go about sparking inspiration whenever I need to. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I want to let you know about a free gift that I've got for you down below this video in the description. If you go down there, you'll find a link to my Smash It Secrets PDF. Now, this PDF is my entire songwriting process. It's going to take you step by step, start to finish, on writing your own original song. I've also added some other resources in there for you to make things even easier for you. So if you go down there, just click the link and I'll send it to your email inbox 100% free. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you again for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.